Motorhead Garage, the program that each week introduces you to and shows you how to install the latest in exciting and innovative products for your vehicle. Now here's your host, Dave Dobson.
We are Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonfireTools.com. If you've ever worked with a pipe or a stud or a tap or a bolt, invariably one of them has broken off while you're trying to work with it, and that's where you need an extraction tool. And Wallen Tools has been doing this, Skip, for 115 years. How has the company evolved in the last century?
The company hasn't evolved that much. The tool was developed in 1908, and it's remained the same since.
And this is a classic example, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, because you guys came up with this technology and it's become the industry standard, so you're sticking with it.
That's it.
Yeah, so for the uninitiated, how does an extraction tool work?
A tap cuts threads in metal, and from time to time they break, and when they do, the tap extractor, the fingers of the extractor go into the flutes of the broken tap, put a wrench on it, and it rotates the broken tap out backwards.
Now there's different numbers of flutes on different taps, and you guys have that covered as well, right?
We do. There's 2, 3, and 4 flute taps. The 4 flute is the most common.
And this is how the company started back in the early 1900s. This is your original kit, and this is extractors like we just saw there. And how many different extraction tools do you make?
We make 85 different tap extractors, and that includes the 2, 3, and 4 flute. Besides standard machine screw, we also make tap extractors for pipe taps and helicoil as well. And once again, they're all completely different. The helicoil are slightly bigger because a helicoil tap is bigger than a standard tap.
You said you guys haven't evolved much, but you did back in the 1940s.
Right.
This is some of the latest technology you've come up with, because you're working down inside an engine and you got some hard to reach parts, so the extension here will help you get to that. How does that work?
This is our tap extension, and the tap goes in. It is held in place by 2 90-degree socket set screws, and it's used for getting into hard-to-reach places in an engine compartment or around some other part that's in the way.
Now, right about the same time, you guys also came up with this product here. What would I use something like this for? Something big, obviously.
That's a pipe stud and screw extractor. That particular one would be for a 2-inch pipe or up to a 3.5-inch stud or bolt. You'd obviously have to drill a very big hole to put that in.
No doubt.
But the smallest one is for a 3/8 stud or a 1/8 pipe, and the size range goes all the way in between up to 2-inch pipe and 3.5-inch stud.
So obviously the threads are reversed on this, and you're able to use a wrench and pull it out the other way.
Yeah.
Now let's see how easy it is to use a tool from Wallen Tools here. This is a manifold from a Ford flathead, and you were changing out the carburetor and something went wrong. What was the problem?
The stud broke, and I had to remove the stud and then rechase the threads just to make sure that the new stud was going to go in, and put the tap in, and it broke. At this point, the easiest thing to do is a little bit of lubrication always helps, and also some compressed air to blow the broken chips out from the broken tap, and then put a tap wrench on it, and then remove the broken tap as such.
Simple as that, backs right out.
Simple as that.
Now the fingers on these, what happens if those bend or break? I know that they're pretty small there, kind of dainty, if you will.
Over a period of time, they will bend and break. If they do bend or break, you don't have to throw the tool out. You can get replacement fingers that easily fit right into place.
Cool.
The tool comes apart and the fingers just go right back in and you're good to go again.
And how many come in a set there of the replacements?
There's 12 per package.
That's the only thing on your Wallen Tools that's ever going to break.
Exactly.
What kind of materials are you making them out of to make sure the quality's there?
Everything is tool steel, and everything is made in Connecticut except for the boxes, but they're made in the USA. Everything that needs to be heat treated is heat treated, and there's the only parts that are not heat treated are the collars and sleeves because they are not working parts.
Definitely the quality's there, all made in the USA, which I know a lot of our viewers love. Where can folks get tools from Wallen Tools?
All of the tools can be bought through automotive, industrial, or plumbing distributors throughout the country and ultimately the world.
All right, you can find them on WallenTools.com to see what they have. You know you're going to need one of these eventually, so look them up and find a dealer near you. We'll be right back with more Motorhead Garage presented by DragonfireTools.com, so leave it right here.
Motorhead
Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonfireTools.com, is brought to you by RockAuto.com. All the parts your car will ever need. Campbell's CustomCare.com, home of the Don Detail Spray. And by PaintedAutoBodyParts.com, the leading U.S. auto body parts online store.
Welcome back to Motorhead Garage,
Presented by DragonfireTools.com.
If you're doing anything recreational in a vehicle that has tires, you know that traction is king. Tyler, what's the easiest way to achieve the proper traction I need?
Oh, definitely with what we got here. Oh, we have our MORRFlate multi-tire inflation deflation kits. We can hook up all 4 of your tires, or just 2 tires if you want. You're going out to a drag strip for the day. Air up, air down, equalize all your tires in one. That is the name of the game in vehicular recreation.
A lot of people are looking at their screens right now going, why do I want to air down?
Absolutely. So for airing down, lots of different reasons. Off-roading is the biggest one. You know, if you air down, you get more traction to the ground. So it's the easiest, cheapest way. It's free to let air out of your tires to gain traction and make off-roading easier. It also makes the ride way more comfortable when your tires are part of your suspension.
So more comfortable, and you're getting a bigger footprint there for the tires.
Absolutely. Mud wheeling, sand wheeling. If you're going out to dunes all the time, oh, you have to air down in the sand. Snow wheeling, rocks, anything you're looking for off-road, you got to air down. Airing down at a drag strip as well. You know, you're going for that quarter mile, trying to get that 4 to 5 PSI, the sweet spot in your rear tires. Air them down, keeps both your tires at the same pressure, and you're good for your quarter mile.
Well, let's talk about that. The old way of airing down, the way most people do things, is a pain.
Absolutely. I'm 6'4", right? So if I squatted a single tire for more than 2 minutes, my knees just pop coming down here. I can't get back up, I get stuck. And so I was like, there's gotta be a better way to do this.
Well, and let's talk about the time involved too. You want to go in off-road, you want to hit the trail.
It can take upwards of a half hour, especially just sitting there. I've seen people agonizing for me to watch, have their keys and just stick their key into their valve stem, and then they just sit there for 15 minutes while they're airing down their tires with their keys. With these air chucks, we got 4 of them. So you hook up all 4 of your tires, then they're all connected into one, and then you just dump the air out of your manifold at the front of the vehicle, rear of the vehicle, wherever you set it up. And it's very simple and easy to do. So these air chucks here are push on, pull off. Super user friendly. So all you do is take your valve stem caps off, put your air chuck on, push it on, you're good to go.
I know a lot of air chucks are automatically engaged.
Yeah.
In the detent position.
Yep.
Not so. Why did you design it this way so it's disengaged when you put it on?
Because we don't want planned obsolescence, right? So with your air chucks default engaged, you know, as you go on and off your valve stems a lot, if you're going a lot of wheeling or going to the drag strip a lot, you're going to wear out the threads on your valve stems. With these, because the locking collar disengages when you pull it off and come to the unlock position, these 3 teeth here don't rub and wear out your valve stems over time.
All right, that's how we equalize the pressure. How do we then reduce the pressure in all 4 tires?
Great question. So we're going to come right on over here to our manifold. So all 4 tires, once they're hooked up to the vehicle and to the system, now all of it just dumps right out of here. So we can see right now, the gauge will tell you what all 4 tires are at. So we're sitting at about 31 PSI right now. We've been playing around with the tires. It was about 38, 40. And literally within about 2 minutes of airing down, we've gotten down to 31 PSI in all 4 tires. So you just dump the air out.
You don't have to go around kneeling from tire to tire.
Exactly. That's the beauty of the system. Normally, you're sitting there squatting at each tire for a really long amount of time. With this, you dump the air, go hang out with your buddies for a while.
And how does MORRFlate make airing up easier too?
So pretty much it's the exact thing and the opposite though, right? So you're going around to each tire, 1 tire at a time, holding an air chuck on your tire as the air goes from your air source into your tire. With this, you hook it onto here with just a coupler, anything, it holds on itself, have the valve open, let the air go all back into your tires. It'll evenly distribute the air between all 4 of your tires. So again, you just start the process and then sit back and hang out with your buddies.
We mentioned all 4 tires. Of course, you can do it with 2 tires.
Yep.
Left side, right side, depending on your application.
Yep. You know, overlanding is getting huge right now, so people load up the rear end of their trucks. So maybe you want to run more PSI in your rear tires than your front tires. You can absolutely do that. All of our air chucks default closed. So if you want to do that, say you want 40 in the front, 60 in the rear, air everything up to 40, pull the fronts off, and continue going up to 60 in the rear. We can air up 4 38-inch tires on this Gladiator here from about 5 PSI back to 40 PSI in about 7 minutes.
It's a super time saver. It's also going to save you a lot of effort. The MORRFlate is an essential if you're airing up or airing down for any application. Find them at MORRFlate.com. And find more Motorhead Garage presented by DragonfireTools.com right after this.
Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonfireTools.com, coming to you from the Campbell's Custom Care Studio.
Hey Motorheads, welcome to Motorhead Garage presented by DragonfireTools.com. If you got a performance car like this Shelby GT350, making 500 horsepower, you know when you take it to the track, the enemies are heat, vibration, and pressure. And a lot of times the hoses and the fittings can be the weak link in that. Ken, why do people seem to ignore hoses and fittings?
Well, a lot of people, they go after the more performance parts, thinking that their money investment is best in the performance parts. But they got to remember, this is what's feeding the performance parts, whether it's your brakes, whether it's your turbos, whether it's your superchargers. This is still the heart of it. This is your vein.
So Roadrunner Performance, how do you improve on the standard hoses and fittings you might find out there?
A lot of things that we try to do is, one, we try to pressure test everything. We make sure that everything is still up to par for people. You know, we won't ever take it to burst in a normal application, but I want to make sure that if something sticks, something goes bad, that our parts will hang out for the longest.
I don't want to bury the lead here. Let's talk about how much pressure your hoses can take in the fittings as well.
Well, this is a simple PTFE hose, which we ran up to 9,700 PSI before it burst at the fitting, which is unheard of. Yeah. This is a put-together fitting.
That's insane.
And then we tried to crimp one. We came out with some new crimp, but you know the hose wouldn't last what our fittings would, so it burst at 10,000.
Is that all?
That's all, yeah.
What's the standard pressure that a hose is really going to need?
Standard pressure, you're going to run working pressure somewhere around 600 to 1,000 max. If you're dealing with a power steering unit, it could be a couple thousand, but we're still well within range of that.
But if you settle for less than Roadrunner Performance, you can have a really bad day if something like this goes bad.
Oh yeah, you could lose thousands of dollars on a Pro Charger or anything of that nature. You know, that is the heart.
Roadrunner Performance, everything you have here looks better than any hoses and fittings I've ever seen as well.
Well, we go out and we do different things. We have a cutting edge fitting that's really cool. Take a little more time. We cut it one more time after the anodizing process, so it just gives somebody a different option. You know, when you're laying it out with a black hose, it's pretty cool.
So it's something like this with the black and the silver as well, which looks different.
Correct, Dave.
Very cool. And so let's kind of walk through what you have here. I know your fittings are one of the things that really make you famous here, and you've got a new one here.
It's considered a dry brake, but what we did, because the original dry brakes didn't have a way to mount them, we did a bulkhead style. This bulkhead style gives you the ability to mount this anywhere. Even though that we're coming in with a number 6, our bodies are bigger, so we're going to flow an 8. So we always try to give you the best flow, best product availability.
And it's a quick disconnect, also a dry brake, as you said. And this is great because once you disconnect it, you're not going to be leaking fluid. If you've got a Mustang like this and you're out on the track, maybe you catch a front wheel, you need to change the brake, this comes in handy.
We came out with this, Dave, because you can just disconnect it. If you're a drifter or a racer, you have a different assembly ready to go, there it is. You're not going to have any air in the system when you plug this back in, so you plug your new piece on, hook it up, and you're gone.
Back on the racetrack. And what other, so the lines here that you have too, a lot of different varieties, a lot of different finishes.
Well, we keep a lot of different finishes because some people have a preference. Black obviously is always good. You know, this is a titanium fitting. It gives you a nice offset from the black hose and brings you right in if you're going to use a stainless hose. We carry PTFE. PTFE is for your higher pressure. You know, anytime that you're hooking up a power steering or something that needs higher pressure, we got it. We also have it with the black coating, which just gives it a little bit more protection around it instead of rubbing against the stainless steel. We carry the traditional push lock. We try to keep it in 2 different colors only. We don't want to get too fancy with that. We also have fuel systems. Here's part of our fuel system that we actually put a nut on instead of having the old style plastic ones that this car would probably have before it was built for a racing. It gives you a nice solid fit. You got 2 O-rings inside. So when you put this baby together, it's not going anywhere. It's locked down solid. The nut does it.
And Ken, tell me about the lightweight hose down here at the end.
Well, a lot of hot rodders and car restorations are using them. It has great looks and it really offsets our fittings well. We have it in black and black with a blue braid.
All right, there you have it. If you are a builder, if you're into high performance, if you're a racer, you're gonna have to run, do not walk to the internet. Find a dealer near you, RoadrunnerPerformance.com. We're gonna return with more Motorhead Garage presented by DragonfireTools.com right after this, so stay tuned.
Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonfireTools.com. Industrial workbenches with integrated tool storage. And brought to you by Amsoil, the first in synthetics. Detail Guards, your #1 car care source for detailing supplies. Custom Auto Sound, the originator of classic car OEM fit radios since 1977. And by Firewire LEDs, all of your LED lighting needs, a new approach to the lighting industry.
Well, picture this. You're driving along and your car's stuck in second gear, and then, bam, up pops the check engine light. Welcome to this Amsoil Tech Tip. Now, before you go replacing an expensive transmission, it may be as simple as a shift solenoid. What's a shift solenoid? Well, you can see them right here. There's the 1-2 shift solenoid, the 2-3 shift solenoid, and it's located in the valve body. What do? They actually control the shifts. How do they do it? Well, the computer's pretty smart. He can do a series of on and off, like first gear. If they're both on, well, you'll be in first gear. Second gear is off and on, you'll be in second gear. And this is pretty interesting. Third gear is off, off. If your car fails, well, you're gonna be stuck in third gear because they're both off. And fourth gear is on, off. So it achieves those gears, but it does it with a small shift solenoid here, Lynn. And this thing's submersed in fluid. That could be a problem.
It can be. You get back to fluid maintenance and having you want to make sure that you're using a quality product so that it doesn't break down or degrade or leave deposits anywhere.
Absolutely. To give me a hand, we can actually give them a pretty cool tech tip. You just pop it out of there. This is what will be facing under your pan when you do it. You pull it out of there and you can see it actually shoots the fluid and moves that valve. But if you hold it still for me, it's a solenoid. So there's actually an ohmic value of ohms of resistance. And ours is measuring about, let's see here, 21.4, 21.3. Check your manufacturer service manual. Lynn, because it shows good ohms doesn't mean it's not working, does it?
Right, you could actually ohm out and pass that, but if it's full of deposit and varnish, it might be sticking internally, so that could be your problem.
Now, how do we solve that problem with the Amsoil?
Maintain the fluid, change your fluid, making sure you're using a high quality synthetic. Our Signature Series products use the highest quality base oils, the best additives that you can get, because this is a harsh environment that this transmission is living in. So you got to make sure you're maintaining it and you're using a quality product.
Well, there's an awesome tip for you. Check them out on the website at amsoil.com for this awesome product and so many others.
Motorheads, you might have a trailer, perhaps you're a racer or you're a professional and you keep all your gear in that trailer, and you know that trailer thefts are a big problem. So how have you solved that problem at Trailer Alarms, Lyle?
So we took our knowledge of what happens inside a trailer, what the trailer does, what it doesn't do, and we created a trailer security system. And that's what our PTS2 system does. Protects the trailer, the contents, the alarm system, we call it security in an instant. It flashes the running lights, sounds 120 decibel siren, and locks up the electric brakes.
So you might find other alarms out there that do one or two of those things, but
yeah,
nobody
but
does all three.
Ours is a purpose-built trailer security system. There's other systems out there that are modified or glorified car alarms.
Well, so you've got two different systems here. This is the basic.
Yep.
And then you've got what you call the Cadillac version of it here. And what's the fundamental difference between the two?
So they will both lock up the brakes, flashlights, sound a siren, and they are both activated by a single button key fob to arm and disarm the system. This system here, our Cadillac version, will send you an email alert if the system goes off. It will also be able to track it and remotely arm and disarm the system through a smartphone device that we have.
A lot of times you're leaving that trailer park because you're a weekend warrior, so it's great to get that notification when you need it. What about monthly fees involved with either one of these?
So with this system, there is no monthly or yearly fees. With this system and its little brother, which does cellular notification.
What's installation like? I know a lot of folks are mechanically minded, but may not be all up on electrical.
So the biggest deal with these is a good ground. Make sure you have a good ground. After that, you need to find the hot wire on the running lights, the brake lead, and hook up the siren. And it's not rocket science, but depending on how particular you are and how well you want to hide the wires, you know, it's going to take you probably 4 hours minimum to get the system installed.
Certainly time well spent.
Yeah.
And what about if they run into trouble and need help with an issue that they might have?
So we do include a little card with every system that has a QR code on it that they can go to our YouTube page and troubleshoot you know, that particular issue that they're having.
If you have a trailer, you know you've got tons of valuable stuff inside. You can protect it, and you can do it economically at traileralarms.com. Hey, send us a note at motorheadgarage.tv if you or someone you know should be our paintedautoparts.com Motorhead of the Week. We had a few people write in and tell us we should feature Doug Herbert, so we did. Now, the name Doug Herbert is probably one you know from his years as a drag racer, lots of NHRA and IHRA wins, but tragedy changed Doug's life for the worst, and since then, he's been changing lives for the better. Now, Doug's sons, John and James, were killed in a car accident 15 years ago, and from that very moment, Doug dedicated his life to help teens drive more safely. He started Brakes, which stands for Be Responsible and Keep Everyone Safe. It's an amazing teen driving school that travels the country, and it teaches kids how to be more conscientious and more confident behind the wheel. Let me tell you, it is a must-do for any teen driver, and parents will learn a lot too. So far, this is unbelievable. Over 130,000 students have graduated from the school, and university studies show that Brakes has saved thousands of lives. And oh, by the way, the school is free and it runs on donations. So congratulations to Doug Herbert for being the PaintedAutoParts.com Motorhead of the Week. You're the Motorhead of the Millennium in my book for all you've done. That'll do it for this edition of Motorhead Garage presented by DragonfireTools.com. We'll do it again next week, and we hope to see you then. So long from everyone here